خلقتني وأنا عبدك وأنا على عهدك ووعدك ما استطعت أعوذ بك من شر ما صنعت أبوء لك بنعمتك علي وأبوء بذنبي فاغفر لي فإنه لا يغفر الذنوب إلا أنت استغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه
أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه
أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه
أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله العظيم وأتوب إليه فاعلم أنه لا إله إلا الله 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 إلا الله لا إله 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 إلا الله اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد النور وآله 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 اللهم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد النور وآله 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 اللهم صل على سيدنا اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد النور وآله 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 اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد النور وآله 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 اللهم صل على سيدنا اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد النور وآله 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 اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد النور وآله 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 يا لطيفا بخلقه يا خبيرا بخلقه يا عليما بخلقه الطف بنا يا لطيف يا خبير يا عليم يا لطيفا بخلقه يا خبيرا بخلقه يا عليما بخلقه الطف بنا يا لطيف يا خبير يا عليم يا لطيفا بخلقه يا خبيرا بخلقه يا عليما بخلقه الطف بنا يا لطيف يا خبير يا عليم يا لطيفا بخلقه يا خبيرا بخلقه يا عليما بخلقه الطف بنا يا لطيف يا خبير يا عليم يا لطيفا بخلقه يا خبيرا بخلقه يا عليما بخلقه الطف بنا يا لطيف يا خبير عليم يا لطيفا لم يزل الطف بنا فيما نزل أنت اللطيف لم تزل الطف بنا والمسلمين يا لطيفا لم يزل الطف بنا فيما نزل أنت اللطيف لم تزل الطف بنا والمسلمين يا لطيفا لم يزل الطف بنا فيما نزل أنت اللطيف لم تزل الطف بنا والمسلمين يا لطيفا لم يزل الطف بنا فيما نزل أنت اللطيف لم تزل الطف بنا والمسلمين يا لطيفا لم يزل الطف بنا فيما نزل أنت اللطيف لم تزل الطف بنا والمسلمين يا لطيفا لم يزل الطف بنا فيما نزل أنت اللطيف لم تزل الطف بنا والمسلمين يا لطيفا لم يزل الطف بنا فيما نزل أنت اللطيف الطف بنا والمسلمين يا لطيفا لم يزل الطف بنا فيما نزل أنت اللطيف لم تزل الطف بنا والمسلمين
يا لطيف يا لطيف يا لطيف يا الله 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 يا خبير يا خبير الله يا عليم يا عليم يا الله يا رحمن يا رحمن يا رحمن يا الله يا رحمن يا رحمن يا الله يا رحيم يا رحيم يا رحيم يا الله يا رحيم يا رحيم يا الله يا كريم يا كريم يا كريم يا الله يا كريم يا الله يا غفور يا غفور يا غفور يا الله يا غفور يا غفور يا الله يا شكور يا شكور يا شكور يا الله يا شكور يا الله يا سلام يا سلام يا سلام يا الله يا سلام يا الله يا ستار يا ستار يا ستار يا الله يا ستار يا ستار يا الله يا تواب يا تواب يا تواب يا الله يا تواب يا تواب يا الله يا رزاق يا رزاق يا رزاق يا الله يا رزاق يا رزاق يا رزاق يا الله يا فتاح يا فتاح يا فتاح يا الله يا فتاح يا فتاح يا الله 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 يا لطيف يا لطيف يا لطيف يا الله يا لطيف يا لطيف يا لطيف يا اللهم صل وسلم وبارك عليه وعلى آله.
لا إله إلا الله 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 لا إله إلا الله 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 لا إله إلا الله 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 كرر أيها الإنسان لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله 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 لا إله إلا الله 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 لا إله إلا الله الله لا إله إلا الله 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 جمعت معنى التوحيد ودلت بلا مزيد جمعت معنى التوحيد ودلت بلا مزيد كرر أيها المريد لا إله إلا الله كرر أيها المريد لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله 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 لا إله إلا الله 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 لا إله إلا الله 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 لا إله الله الله قد أتانا في الأصول عن الحبيب الرسول قد أتانا في الأصول عن الحبيب الرسول أن خير ما نقول لا إله إلا الله أن خير ما نقول لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله 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 هي شفاء الصدور هي نور على نور هي شفاء الصدور هي نور على نور ذكر ربك الغفور لا إله إلا الله ذكر ربك الغفور لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله الله لا إله إلا الله 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 لا إله إلا الله 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 لا إله إلا الله 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 ذاكرها لا يشقى لا ينال فرقا ذاكرها لا يشقى لا ينال فرقا هي العروة الوثقى لا إله إلا الله هي العروة الوثقى لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله 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 لا إله إلا الله 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 لا إله إلا الله 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 لا إله إلا الله الله
مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على الحبيب وآل البيت كلهم مولاي صل وسلم دائما send peace and blessing upon your beloved, the best and perfect creation that you have created. Mawlaya salli wa sallim daima abadan ala al-habibi wa alil kullihim. Look at the heavens and the earth, the shining sun and the moon. When Allah made all of them, He made them all just for you. Mawlaya salli wa sallim daima abadan ala al-habibi wa there is no one like you, there is no one who's the same, so merciful is your nature and so high is your name. Muhammadun Sayyidul Kawnayni wa Thaqalayni wal Fariqayni min Urbi wa min Ajami. Mawlaya salli wa sallim all the prophets and messengers are in need of you. They all take sips from your ocean and desire to serve you. وَكُلُّهُمْ مِنْ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ مُلْتَمِسٌ غَرْفًا مِنَ الْبَحْرِ أَوْ رَشْفًا مِنَ الدِّيَامِ. مَوْلَايَ صَلِّ وَسَلِّمْ دَائِمًا أَبَدًا عَلَى الْحَبِيبِ وَآلِ الْبَيْتِ كُلِّهِمْ. So beautiful were your moments with Siddiq in the cave. He stood by you all his life and sleeps by you in the grave. Look at Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman and Mawla Ali. We love them for they have spent their lives in your company. ثم عن أبي بكر وعن عمر وعن علي وعن عثمان ذي الكرم. مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبي وآل البيت كلهم. The Lord has sworn by the beauty of the curls in your hair and by the place of your birth and by the cloth that you wear. The Lord has sworn by the beauty of the nur on your face, oh beautiful Mustafa. Bless your servants with one gaze. Mawlaya salli wa sallim daiman abadan ala al-habibi wa ahli al-bayti kullihim. Ya Mustafa, have mercy for the sake of your family, the two princes of Jannah and Fatima and Ali. Ya Rabbi bil Mustafa balligh maqasida waghfir lana ma madaya wasi'a al-karam. Mawlaya salli wa sallim عليه وعلى آله.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد النور المبين وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين، ورضي الله عن أزواجه وذرياته وأصحابه وأحبابه والتابعين، وعنا معهم برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله في الأولين، وصل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله في الآخرين، وصل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله في الملأ الأعلى إلى يوم الدين. اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وإسرافنا في أمرنا وثبت أقدامنا. اللهم اهدنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا، أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. اللهم إنا نسألك العفو والعافية والمعافاة الدائمة في الدين والدنيا والآخرة. اللهم أنت ربي لا إله إلا أنت، خلقتني وأنا عبدك، وأنا على عهدك ووعدك ما استطعت. أعوذ بك من شر ما صنعت. أبوء لك بنعمتك علي وأبوء بذنبي فاغفر لي، فإنه لا يغفر الذنوب إلا أنت. صل اللهم وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد، طب القلوب ودوائها وعافية الأبدان وشفائها ونور الأبصار والبصائر وضيائها، وعلى آله وأصحابه وأزواجه وذرياته وسلم تسليما كثيرا، والحمد لله رب العالمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم، لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم، له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض. من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه، يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم، ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء. وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض، ولا يؤوده حفظهما، وهو العلي العظيم. آمنت بالله العظيم. الآية obviously is Surah Al-Kursi, no. Lakin the point of the ayah is introduction. Introducing Allah by Allah to the creation of Allah. Allahu la ilaha illa hu. Al-Hayy, the living. Al-Qayyum, they're not subject to change, they're not subject to need, they're not subject to etc. etc. لا تأخذه سنة. He's not subject to sleep or absenteeism or heedlessness. Subhanahu wa ta'ala. يعلم ما في السماوات وما في. Everything belongs to him. Earth and heavens and everything in between them and on them, and everything before them and everything after them. His might is established, subhanahu wa ta'ala. They want me to talk about Sayyidina Hussain radiallahu anhu, so I'm going to try to talk about what I can based on this. The job of the Anbiya alayhimus salatu wassalam from the beginning was to introduce the creation to their creator. And what people did is they went to worship creation. Some worship animals, some worship planets, some worship lights and darkness, some worship idols, some worship money, some worship name, some worship fame, some whatever. They've erected lots of idols with the idea that the Prophet ﷺ came to tell people is you should not worship the creation. Stop worshiping the creation and worship the Creator. The creation, madda, or what, if you want to pluralize it, maddiyat. Maddiyat is things that were created from madda, and madda means matter. So the Anbiya alayhimu salatu wassalam primarily were telling people, do not worship madda or maddiyat. You need to worship not matter, you need to worship the one that created matter. No matter what kind of matter you worship, because matter may be manifested in many ways. A human being is matter, planet is matter, this is matter, water is matter, money is matter, all this has essence in matter. And they're telling them, do not worship matter, maddiyat. Today, maddiyat, they call them materialism. Really, materialism from matter. Matter, materialism, worshipping matter. Well, that was the struggle of the Anbiya alayhim salatu wassalam. How can they move the people from seeing and emphasizing and focusing and giving relevance to matter, rather from that to move to worshipping the Rabb of matter, Rabbul Madda. And that's why how 123,000 prophets, if the narration is authentic, were killed. Because people refused to let go of matter, to see the Lord of matter. And they killed the messengers of the Lord of matter for the sake of matter. This is not strange. You see it, and Nabi al-Akram sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa ashabihi wa azwajihi wa sallam mentioned it في صحيح Imam Muslim. Hadith is there. Hadith is there. Today people's focus are what in the dunya? The Lord of the matter or matter? Do we teach our children a focus on materialism or focus on the creator of materialism? Do we teach children that success is actually possession of materialism, or success is in closeness to the Lord of materialism and the Lord of matter? Do we measure our movements by matter or by the Lord of matter? Today there is an issue with that, because today we're still in many ways erecting matter as a visible thing, and therefore materialism has taken over things. Today, a lot of, maybe we can say that one of the challenges of the Ummah of the Prophet ﷺ in this era, an era of materialism, as you all know, that has intensified so much, is how to actually unplug from being hooked to matter to actually try to find the Lord of the matter. And the emphasis in many ways is to worship matter and to only see matter. For only matter matters. But they're forgetting about the one who does matter.
Allahu Akbar.
And that's why when الأنبياء عليهم الصلاة والسلام سيدنا عيسى عليه السلام مثلا سيدنا عيسى had a wandering ministry, as they say, all over the place, here, there, going in places. Maybe if he was to see one of our homes today, even the most humble ones of our homes, that would be luxury. But the measurement for success with Isa alayhi salam was not matter. Same with Musa alayhi salatu wassalam. Same with Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. You go now to Madina al-Munawwara ala sahibiha wa aliha afdal as-salah wa rizq as-salam, and you visit the Rawda al-Sharifa, and you visit next to Rawda al-Maqam al-A'zam bi Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa azwajihi wa sallam, and you see the Hujra al-Sharifa, you see it in front of you, and you know that this was the home of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi, and 9 of his wives. 9 homes were there, not one. This room that you look and you say, it's too small for me to live in right now. But that room housed the final of the prophets alayhimus salatu wassalam, and all his honorable wives and the children, Ali, Fatima, etc., all were there in that place. Because the focus that success in this dunya was not necessarily matter. And the worry in this dunya ought not just to be matter. Your home could be filled with things, but empty from the love of Allah in it. What did you gain? Your pocket may be filled, and your account may be filled. Lakin iman is weak. What's the point? Al-Anbiya were trying to lead us to this. And the Prophet ﷺ actually informed us that this is what will happen in even within the ummah of the Prophet ﷺ. Saying what? Al-Hadith fi Sahih Muslim, حتى يصبح مؤمنا ويمسي كافرا ويمسي كافرا. In the morning, يمسي مؤمنا ويصبح كافرا. So in the morning he is mu'min, by night time he becomes kafir. والعياذ بالله. Loses his whole iman. And by the night he is mu'min, by the morning he becomes kafir. How come, Ya Rasulullah? He says, يبيع دينه بعرض من الدنيا. He's willing to sell his whole deen for just little material in the dunya. عرض من الدنيا, little material. It means the whole deen is not worth anything. The focus is some of the dunya. Not the whole dunya, just some of the dunya. And forget what deen, what anything. Forget all that. And I'm ready to sell any and everything for just little bit of the dunya. Whether it's name, whether it's fame, whether it's wealth, whether it's possession, it's all materialism. And that materialism will go, so once you go. I know Allah Ta'ala informed us that no one will live everlastingly in this dimension. Everyone here is going to die. إِنَّكَ مَيِّتٌ وَإِنَّهُمْ مَيِّتُونَ. Ya Rasulullah, you shall pass away from this dimension, and they also will die. Straightforward. And that's why when you look at the ayat في القرآن الكريم, مثلا في الأنفال, في بدر, when the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is trying to get the people to stand up for their right. يا أيها النبي حرض المؤمنين على القتال. O Prophet of Allah, Allah is telling him the meaning of the ayah. Encourage people to stand up, to fight, to stand up for their right. حرض المؤمنين. Encourage them. And then he tells him something that's a good tiding for the believers. إِيَّكُمْ مِنْكُمْ 20 صابرون يغلبوا 200. If amongst you 20 people who have sabr, condition, the mu'mineen obviously, iman, but iman by itself has to be tested. How can it be tested? Patience. What do you mean patience? In the battle, patience? You have patience in the battle? Yani you have perseverance and persistence and bravery and faithfulness to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah tells him, إِيَّكُمْ مِنْكُمْ 20 صَابِرٌ يَغْلِبُوا 200. 20 of you will overcome 200 of them.
Allah.
Each one 10. إِيَّكُمْ مِنْكُمْ 20 صَابِرُونَ. 20 only. But they must have, not just they say, I believe. No. صَابِرُونَ. Sabirun, people who have sabr, people who have persistence, people who have belief. يَغْلِبُوا 200. They will overcome 200. وَإِيَّكُمْ مِنْكُمْ 1000. If amongst you there is 1,000, يَغْلِبُوا 200. You will overcome 2,000. عفوا 100 صابرون 100 يغلبوا 200 صابرون يغلبوا 2000. If there's 200, they would overcome 2,000. And Allah Ta'ala then tells us why they won 200 200 يغلبوا 2000. Why would 200 overcome 2,000? Allah says بأنهم قوم لا يفقهون. It is because these people have no fiqh. Why you overcome them? They have no fiqh. What do you mean have no fiqh? It means they have no understanding. الفقه يعني فهم. فهم means understanding. The reason these people, you will win over them with 20 over 200 and 200 over 2,000 is because they have no fahm. They have no understanding. They think materialism makes them win. And what they don't realize, only Allah gives win. وَمَا النَّصْرُ إِلَّا مِنْ عِنْدِ اللَّهِ. Only Allah gives win. So they depend on themselves and on what they have. But they may win in what they think is win. But you can't call the game over until Qiyamah, can you? And that's why Allah says, ذَلِكَ أَوْ بِأَنَّهُمْ قَوْمٌ لَا يَفْقَهُونَ. They don't understand that you can never win against Allah Azza wa Jal. There's no such thing. But there has to be what? 100 صابرة أو عفوا 200 people that are sabir. There has to be 20 sabirun. It seems that Allah Ta'ala says, الآن خفف الله عنكم وعلم أن فيكم ضعفا. The Sahaba said, 200 against 2,000 is a lot. 20 over 200, too much. Allah made it easier even. Well, otherwise the promise is there. He tells them if there's now not 1 against 10, 1 for 2. If there's 1 of you, you will overcome 2. But the fahm is obviously what Allah Ta'ala said. And that's where Al-Anbiya alayhim as-salatu was-salam, the whole journey of their life was trying to tell people, look, all what you're doing here is you are living with materialism. But when you live with materialism, don't ever think that this ought to be worshipped, or that whatever manifestation of materialism will actually give you a win, or whatever manifestation of materialism will make you high or low. All these things don't make you anything. It's your own delusion that you think materialism makes you a better person or a lesser person. What makes you a better person or a lesser person is your closeness and relationship to Allah Azza wa Jal, and upholding the haqq and discarding the batil. this is why Al-Hussein, Imam Hussain radiyallahu anhu wa anna bihi, continued the message of the Anbiya alayhi salatu wassalam, yani the line of his grandfather sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. A lot of people still think that the fight between Sayyidina al-Hussein and Yazid was a fight about the sultan or the kursi. And there's nothing more wrong than that. Al-Hussein radiallahu anhu was not fighting for or about the position. The position comes and goes. Yani even if Sayyidina al-Hussein took the position, how long does the position last? How long will al-Hussein live? Al-Hussein was not worried about position. Al-Hussein was worried about direction. Al-Anbiya were not worried about their position. They were worried about the direction of the people, the direction of the ummah. إِنَّمَا وَلِيُّكُمُ اللَّهُ وَرَسُولُهُ. Your walaya, your loyalty, your closeness ought to be to Allah and His Messenger. The direction is إِن تَنَازَعْتُمْ فِي شَيْءٍ فَرُدُّوهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَالرَّسُولِ. When you disagree about anything, the direction ought to be back to Allah and His Prophet. Al-Hussein wanted to set the direction of the ummah, the compass of the ummah straight. Irrespective who leads, if the direction is in the right direction, then we all go okay. But the problem is if the direction is wrong, if the direction is that people are no longer fearful to say to a zalim, if they're fearful to stand up and say something is wrong, if they're or if they want to take a position saying, you know, look, I love Al-Hussein, but I can't stand with him, it's too difficult. That's where the problem happens. And Yazid was not able to change the direction of the ummah by himself. Yazid couldn't change the direction by himself. Yazid was not that, we want to put every evil in that man. No, Yazid couldn't do it on his own. Yazid couldn't hijack the compass and take it in a different way. And Hussein, they wanted to change the direction to make it again on the path, on the prophetic path, and the direction is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. فَمَنْ كَانَتْ هِجْرَتُهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ إِنِّي وَجَّهْتُ وَجْهِيَ لِلَّذِي فَطَرَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ حَنِيفًا مُسْلِمًا وَمَا أَنَا مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ إِنَّ صَلَاتِي وَنُسُكِي وَمَحْيَايَ وَمَمَاتِي لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. That's the direction of Al-Hussein. Not to make it a family dynasty. That's not what Al-Hussein wanted. Not to make it me versus him. No, not versus him. Do good. No one is going to do anything. Therefore, there is a hadith, Abdullah bin Amr narrates the hadith. الحديث أخرجه الإمام أحمد في مسنده والحديث صحيح. وابن Hibban and others mentioned it as well. He says, Abdullah bin Amr says, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم إذا رأيت أمتي تهاب أن تقول للظالم يا ظالم فقد تودع منهم. Once you see my ummah fearful of standing and telling zalim, you are zalim, then say goodbye to them. Say goodbye to this ummah. And that's exactly what Sayyidina al-Hussein, if you're going to keep putting this, put this down. I don't want to scream. Whoever is doing the voice, if you keep doing it, I'm going to keep doing like this. So if you make it a bit difficult for me and yourself. There's no way to lower the volume? طيب. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد. Sayyidina Hussein did not want to go and do a revolution. You all know my views about revolutions. Revolutions take things down, put them up, and things up, put them down. لأنه ثارة and يثور, then you just take something from, you plow something that's down and you put it up. Al-Hussein was not a man of revolution. Al-Hussein was a man of renaissance. There is difference between thawra wa nahda. Al-Hussein was a man of nahda, renaissance of Al-Hussein. You stand on your feet. You just don't go in circles. The point is not to create chaos. Al-Hussein was not after chaos. Al-Hussein was about the nation standing up. And that's nahda, not thawra. Well, otherwise, anybody does thawra. So today you see all these colorful revolutions. Fight, and I will see you. I send you a text message. But you need to do jihad. Ajib, do jihad with me. You want me to do jihad, Habibia? Why aren't you in the first line? No, it's difficult for me. My role is bigger than that. وهدى بني إسرائيل told Musa عليه الصلاة والسلام اذهب أنت وربك فقاتلا إنها هنا قاعدون. We stay here, you go fight. We will give you support. Al-Hussein wanted the ummah to stand up on its feet. He did not want to lead a revolution that's violent. Someone wants to lead a violent revolution, goes with 72 people, including women and children and infants, against an army. What kind of military strategy is this for violence? What kind of revolution are you trying to do? Al-Hussein never started them with violence. His sword was always to defend himself and his honor. And he gave them so many options. Every opportunity he had to give them option for peace, he actually gave them. But the people insisted. Yazid's army insisted that the only language they understood is the language of the sword. Al-Hussein was forced to defend his honor, himself, and dignity. But Al-Hussein did not send letters. He sent letters to the Muslims to be with him. He did not send letters to Rome and Persia at that time, or other nations, come help me. Al-Hussein did not issue fatwas of destruction of public property. Al-Hussein did not issue fatwas of assassination of those who disagreed with him and shed their blood because they're evil people. La abadan. Al-Hussein was actually trying to reason with them until the last point and the last moment. يعني حتى what the narrators say, يعني narrators meaning علماء السيرة والتاريخ. I don't have any authentic asanid to these things. لكن مستفيضة عند أهل السيرة، مستفيض الخبر عند أهل السير والمغازي والتاريخ. He's asking them the last moment, let's talk. Can we talk? When we talk about Al-Hussein wanted the people to see ترى the maddiyat, the power that you think you have, is not the reason for your salvation nor your success. It will not give you success. You are relying on materialism. And today when we teach our children, all you have to do is, your success is by materialism. And we vacate them, or we do not encourage them to actually bank as much on spirituality, on principles, on ethics, on concepts that are today very strange to many metropolitan young people. Loyalty, faithfulness, decency, truthfulness, trustworthiness, nobility, generosity, servitude, selflessness. When we don't put these things in, and you tell them your success in materialism, I'll tell you something. There's a brick wall that's coming soon. Because they will eventually, since there's no more implementation of these things, they're going to measure the materialism you offer them with materialism other people offer them. And they might say, but other materialism looks even better. Well, why am I bothering? You're still telling me this is what success in this dunya is anyway. And the others are more, I'm not worried about that anymore. Let me go there. Let me do other things. Because again, the issue of, like the Prophet ﷺ said, hadith sahih fi Musnad Ahmad afwan, hadith Hasan, where the Prophet ﷺ says, أمام الدجال سنين خداع. Before the end of times, there will be years of deception. يصدق الكاذب ويكذب الصادق يخون الأمين يؤتمن الخائن. There will be, where the truthful will be called liar, and the liar will be called truthful, and the treacherous will be called trustworthy, and the trustworthy will be called treacherous. وينطق الرويبضة قالوا يا رسول الله وما الرويبضة؟ لفظ أحمد قال الفويسق يتكلم في أمر العامة وفي لفظ السفيه يتكلم etc. And you'll have, so Imam Hussain did not want this ummah to understand that we should not stand up for dhulm and tyranny, like many people are saying. What kind of life is this if you just need to, your whole life, drink humiliation and tyranny and say, God bless the tyranny? May God never bless any tyranny. What tyranny is this? Islam did not come to teach people to suckle humiliation from their mothers and live in humility. Islam came to teach people to be free and dignified and honorable and noble. Islam came to tell people, all of you are equal. The only thing that makes you different is how dignified and honorable and positively contributing you are. Not your family heritage, not your title, not what people think of you, not the perception of people of you, but what you really are doing, you and Allah Azza wa Jal. What a positive contributor are you? Are you a positive contributor, or you are a burden onto society? Do you actually increase nobility and decency in society, or you're actually a vacuum that takes all that stuff from society? Do you appeal to the best in people so they can be better, or you appeal to the most evil in people so you turn them into shayateen? What are you? No, Hussain did not come to people to tell them, we don't think هذا ليس مذهب أهل السنة ترى. Don't think إنه مذهب أهل السنة. And no, we don't say to الظالم ظالم. Now we say to الظالم ظالم 100%. There's difference between saying that and between raising the sword and giving fatwas of bloodshed. There's difference. There is difference between standing up and saying the truth and giving and being a hero on the internet screens. Go do jihad and kill yourself. What are you doing? You saw what happened with ISIS and other things also. Everybody became a hero on the behind screens. Ajib, but and then الكيل بمكيالين. Then we weigh this with one and this with one. Tyranny is the same. It could have many faces, but tyranny is the same. And that's why الحديث also اللي أخرجه أحمد وابن حبان والترمذي also قال حسن صحيح. He authenticated it عن أبي بكر الصديق رضي الله تعالى عنه. وأبو بكر he says يا أيها الناس إنكم تقرؤون. You people, you read يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا يضر. All people who believe, don't worry about others. You just worry about أنفسكم. Don't worry about others. He says, but that's not how it is. That's not how it is. They said, how it is? قال ولكني سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول, but I heard the Prophet صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم يقول, saying that if my ummah does not stand against tyranny, يوشك أن يعمهم الله بعقاب. Allah will also punish them they will actually, by them not saying the truth, by them not standing with the truth, it doesn't mean you get away with it, or you already, you made it. You did not do it. No, no, no. Allah will actually make you taste the humiliation and the punishment. Because they think the dunya is like the akhirah now, nafsi, nafsi. Nafsi, nafsi is not in the dunya. In the dunya, ummati, ummati. In the dunya, iyaka na'bud, not iyaka a'bud. Iyaka nasta'een. You, we seek, we, Ya Allah, together. Not iyaka asta'een, I seek you. Me and you, that's all that matters. Not iyaka a'bud, I just want to worship you, Ya Allah. Iyaka na'bud, we all worship you, Ya Allah. Not ihdini, ihdina. Guide us, Ya Allah. Hatta even in your salah, when you're alone, you're using the plural form. You say, Ya Allah, please guide us all. Not guide me only. Ya akhi, what worth is life if you're alone? Al-Hussein wanted to stand for the we, not for the me. The me, the M looks down. The we, it looks up. Al-Hussein wanted to stand for the we, not for the me, because if he wanted to stand for the me, nobody could stop him, nobody could touch him. But he wanted to stand for the voiceless. He wanted to stand for the oppressed. He wanted to stand for those who wanted to change the direction from إِن تَنَازَعْتُمْ فِي شَيْءٍ فَرُدُّوهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَالرَّسُولِ. Return it to Allah and His Messenger, so you return it to me. Might makes right. He wanted to change the concept now that has settled, that might makes right, to might is, or right is with Allah and His Rasul, irrespective of might, or irrespective of perceived might, because might is always Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala huwa al-qawi. And that's why people misunderstood Al-Hussein until now. They think he went to seek a position. Which position? He wanted to change the direction of the Ummah. And the Ummah, and many of the Ummah did not help. People stood like today, oftentimes, we don't call dhulm dhulm. Call dhulm dhulm. Dhulm doesn't mean you go and use violence. Violence is the language of the inarticulate. We've said it many times. Islam is fundamentally non-violent. But that doesn't mean being passive. That doesn't mean being silent, let alone being complicit. One of our shuyukh used to always tell me, Muhammad, rahmatullahi alayh, if you can't speak the haqq, don't ever clap for the batil. You can't speak the haqq is one thing. Why clapping for the batil? What's the point? What's the point? Where's the direction? You're changing the direction. The point is that we collectively give nasiha to the tyrant or to the zalim and tell the zalim, not so we can demonize the zalim. The point is the zalim could be wali overnight. Lakin dhulm can stay for centuries over the necks of people. We want to alleviate the dhulm. We don't want to put the zalim in Jahannam. Our target is not the zalim. Our enemy is not the zalim as much. Our prayers are with the zalim, but our enemy is dhulm. Injustice itself is the problem. Not the one who's doing it. The one who's doing it will try to stand up as much as we can, capacity-based, istita'a. And try to do what we can. Hadith Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, you all know, in Sahih Muslim. When Marwan went and he wants to do the khutbah in the Eid before the Salah, so he pulls him. Abu Sa'id pulls Marwan. Marwan can hakim al-Madina. He was the ruler of Medina. The hadith is Sahih Bukhari Muslim, both.
Marwan comes because the governor, he is the one who gives khutbah in Eid. Do you pray salah in Eid before the khutbah or after the khutbah in Eid? Salah in the Eid when? Like Jumu'ah or different? Different. First you pray, then you give khutbah in Eid. Well, Marwan wants to do it differently. So Abu Sa'id pulls him. He pulls his cloak. He says, come. This is not how it is. قال يا أبا سعيد لفظ البخاري قد ذهب ما كنت تعلم. That which you knew, you're telling me I shouldn't do this because it's against of what you knew. What you knew is already long gone. There's a new sheriff in town now. What's a new sheriff? What Abu Sa'id knew is the sunnah of Sayyiduna Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi. قال يا أبا سعيد قد ذهب ما كنت تعلم. That which you knew is already gone. قال والله ما أعلم خير مما. Wallah, what I know is better than what you're doing. And then the hadith continues to say, I heard Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, من رأى منكم منكرا فليغيره أو فليقومه. Whoever sees a munkar shall change it with his hand. With his hand he pulled the man. But he didn't kill the man. It's not about rallying for violence. It's rallying for constructive, non-violent, absolute activism to change the status quo. Not to bless the evil that's ongoing. Not to bless the tyranny that's ongoing. But to change it in the most loving and non-violent way and the most active way possible, short of violence and hate. That was the message of Al-Hussein, which we need today more than ever. Capacity-based. I'm not saying everyone. Capacity-based. And that's why, let me finish it. الطبري وابن الأثير وحتى ابن كثير في البداية والنهاية، مع أنه متأخر طبعا ابن كثير as you all know. يعني he came later. الطبري شيخ المحدثين شيخ المؤرخين رحمه الله, right? 310 of Hijrah he died رحمة الله عليه. Who other historians, they narrate this, and I have no authentic sanad to all these things, as you all know. Lakin historians say, allegedly they said that Al-Hussein, طبعا you all know first, that allegedly Hussein is going from Mecca. He left Mecca يوم التروية, يعني 8th of the Hijjah. He could have waited for Hajj. He didn't. He left Mecca يوم التروية, he went all the way north to Iraq. On the way to Iraq, he sees the journalist today, or the poet, Al-Farazdaq, Hammam bin Ghalib. Al-Farazdaq was a poet. Poet in the old days where news media, like today you have your news media, channels on TVs. Poets in the old days were the news media, were the news channels, 24/7 news. He tells him, he meets him. Al-Farazdaq is coming from Iraq to Hijaz. Al-Hussein is going from Al-Hijaz to Iraq. He tells him, how did you leave the people in Iraq behind you, ya Farazdaq? كيف تركت الناس خلفك? How did you leave people behind you? He tells him, allegedly, يا ابن بنت رسول الله, I left them and their hearts are with you, but their swords are against you. The hearts are with you, but the swords are against you. And if you have friends like this, what would you need enemies? Hearts are with you. Like when it comes down to it, nobody wants to sacrifice with Al-Hussein. Even those who loved him, many of them who loved him. Those people in Kufa did not hate Al-Hussein. They loved Al-Hussein, no doubt. It's not the wish of betraying Al-Hussein, no. It's the love of self over love of me, over everything and over we and over the deen even. It's the materialism that rose. All of a sudden, I like you so long, I'm having a good time with you. I'm spending nice pastime. I enjoy your company. That's why I like you, Ya Hussein. I didn't say that, but I feel good when I'm around you, so I'm good. But if you're going to ask me to actually lose a little bit of my comfort, I'm not ready for that. You're looking at the wrong person. If you're asking me to give up a little bit, let alone to sacrifice, forget suffering. Forget suffering. Forget sacrificing. You can't ask me to give up little things. That's not going to happen. But I love to sit with you. I love to learn from you. That's what they did with Al-Hussein. They chat with him. They learned from him. They said, we are with you, everything. They didn't think it was going to come real. When it came real, there's no one there. No one there. You see names, Zuhair ibn al-Qayn, Habib al-Mudahir al-Asadi, you see Muslim bin Awsaja. You see these names of people who nobody knew. Historians repeat their names. Repeat their names. Imam Hussain allegedly, as historians say, he summoned them all, the 72 some people, in the night. When the night came, he summoned them all when he went to the valley of Ninowy or in Karbala. And he told them, Tara, يعني those people, هذا الليل قد غشيكم فاتخذوه جملا. This night has already settled and it's dark night. Use it as a vehicle to go away. I absolve you of any commitment you have to me. You have commitment and you gave me bay'ah. I absolve you of any right before Allah Azza wa Jal. Go. فَإِنَّ الْقَوْمَ لَا يَطْلُبُونَكَ. Well, the people are not looking after you, they're looking after me. If they see me, they're happy and they will forget about you. Everyone take one of your family members and go. Go. Those are the best ones that are there. The 72 people. Well, then you hear the historians saying, يعني personalities like Zuhair ibn al-Qayn, Habib bin Mudahir, etc., all these people, Abdullah bin Muhammad bin Muslim, or bin Afwan bin Muslim, or Muhammad bin Muslim bin Aqil. He tells him, allegedly he tells him, and that's what historians again say, and you want us to go now so we avoid death. But what do you want us to say to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? As if these people, they could be saved and to go enjoy your materials. Live in this material. How long you going to live? Indulge all you want in material. Take all the material and put it in your heart. Put the name and the fame. Take all these things, put them there, and forget about nobility. Forget about servitude. Forget about selflessness. Who cares about these things? Like in these people, they told them, Allah, we will never leave. How can we leave you? We are there before you. We will never go before. Al-Yawm, they start saying, today we will meet Allah, we will meet Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Tabari mentions something also again on the historian's account. They say Al-Hur. Al-Hur was one of the commanders of the Yazidi army. Al-Hur, his name is Al-Hur bin Yazid al-Riyahi. Yani Al-Hur means the free, son of Yazid al-Riyahi. Had Al-Hur, he was a commander, a knight, a warrior. And he was commanded to accompany Al-Hussein, make sure Al-Hussein does not go anywhere. So he's always with him, with a brigade or some soldiers. Al-Hur is warrior, يعني فارس. والفرسان في أخلاق فروسية. يعني warriors, knight, right? They would call them people on the horses. People on the horses, there's akhlaq, there's like chivalry. There's a code of ethics for people who are on horses. There's a code of honor. Even though he's his enemy now. But code of honor. He tells him, Al-Hurr, this commander of the Yazidi army, tells Al-Hussein, he tells him, look, if you're going to fight this army, they're going to kill you. And if they fight you, they will kill you both ways. Save yourself and save us from all this mess. Please, let me take you to Ubaydullah bin Ziyad. We can make a deal or something. You got to listen to what I am saying, basically, or this is what's going to happen. And allegedly, Tabari says that Al-Hussein looks at him and he tells Al-Hurr, he says, Abil mawti tukhawwifuni? You're trying to scare me with death? You're still seeing life and death. You're not seeing الذي خلق الموت والحياة. You're still seeing maut and hayat. There is life and there is death. What Al-Hussein was trying to say, I am still seeing تبارك الذي بيده الملك. I am seeing Allah, to whom belong the whole kingdom. Death and life are all to him. هو الذي خلقهم. أبالموت تخوفني? You're scaring me with death? Since when death scares the warriors?
Yes, sir.
You wouldn't be a warrior if you were scared by death. You are dancing with death as a warrior all the time. You are playing death every battle. Since when can you scare someone like Al-Hussein with taking possessions from him of the dunya? You're a fool if you think you can. You've only taken from your own dunya and your own akhirah. Al-Hussein is the king of the dunya and the sayyid of the akhirah. You can't take anything from him because you can't take nobility from people. You can't take deen from people. Deen. You know your old grandmothers that refused to lie and refused to teach? She was not learned, but she says, I fear Allah. Fear Allah, son. She didn't know anything. Deen. Deen was more important than anything else. Like that woman that was mixing the milk with water. And she was telling her daughter, why don't you add milk to the water so we can sell it in the morning and make more money? And the daughter tells her, but Umar, he was the Khalifa, prohibited us from doing this because we will be caught. Well, she says, Umar is not here to see us, the mother tells her. The daughter says, if Umar is not here to see us, but the God of Umar sees us. Al-Hurr is telling him, look, you say there's death and life involved here. Say, go, don't do this. And he tells him, woe to you, Abil Mawti tukhawwifuni. Until you're going to try to scare the son of Ali with death. Oh, Ali met death so many times. Who do you scare with death? With death you scare the coward and the zalim. Al-Mazlum is not scared by death. Al-Zalim is the one who's scared by death. Mazlum is going to Allah. وَلَا تَحْسَبَنَّ اللَّهَ غَافِلًا عَمَّا يَعْمَلُ الظَّالِمُونَ إِنَّمَا يُؤَخِّرُهُمْ. Only He delays them, that's all. Allah is not subject to time. You have time, you think it's delayed. Nothing is. And allegedly he says, سأمضي, no, he took تمثل بقول أخي أوس. He used the poetry of one of the people of Aus. Allegedly, Al-Tabari says, Al-Hussein, when he says سأمضي, he tells Al-Hurr, you're scaring me by death. سأمضي وما بالموت عار على الفتى. I shall go on my path, and death is not a blemish to the young man. Death doesn't blemish you. إذا ما نوى حقا وجاهد مسلما. So long that his niyyah is good and he's doing jihad and surrendering to Allah Azza wa Jal. فإن عشت لم أندم. If I live, I make it, then I have nothing to regret. You see, regretting is the problem. وَإِن مِتُّ لَمْ أُلَمْ. If I live, then I will never regret. And if I die, I will not be blamed. I did all I could. You people were watching. كَفَى بِكَ ذُلًّا أَن تَعِيشَ وَتُرْغَمَ. He says it's enough humiliation for you that you live humiliated. What kind of life is this? That you live humiliated. And then let alone clapping for all tyrants that come and go. Well, what is this? Al-Hussein was drank the milk of bravery, not of violence, of non-violence, but bravery, of speaking truth to power when he could, not to make chaos. He didn't say things before, but when the chance came, when Yazid put him on the spot, guess what? He said it. And he did more than he said. There are many who say and many who do more than they say. Al-Hussein was a doer, not a talker. One of our major problems nowadays is infusing in our children, in our people, in our things, the measurement of the dunya as success. And I warn myself and you, that you can have the whole dunya, and if you don't have iman, or you don't have that spirituality and the love of Allah in your heart, all that dunya means nothing. If you're trying to infuse in your children that success is by measurements of the dunya and maddiyat and materialism, you're actually losing a lot of stuff, because that will not be taken with them to the akhirah. All your contacts and connections are not going to go to the akhirah with you. All your wealth are not going to go to the akhirah with you. All the big people you know will not help you with one thing. But in the akhirah, you could have friends. You could have friends in the akhirah. Of course. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ قَالُوا رَبُّنَا اللَّهُ ثُمَّ اسْتَقَامُوا. Those who said Allah is our Lord, and then they were steadfast. تتنزل عليهم الملائكة. Malaika will descend on them. ألا تخافوا. Don't have any fear. ولا تحزنوا. And don't be sad. وأبشروا بالجنة التي كنتم توعدون. And wait, the Jannah. And we're giving you glad tidings about the Jannah that you are promised. نحن أولياؤكم. We are your friends. في الحياة الدنيا وفي الآخرة. And we are your friends in the Akhirah as well. You're not alone if you are with Allah. This is not a call for revolutions and rebellions in the nowadays epistemology of it. It's a call for renaissance and standing up and saying the truth and sacrificing and even suffering in a non-violent but not passive, in a very proactive, very active way, short of bloodshed, short of hate. And not to outsource the protection of your dignity to others, but to be participant with others to safeguard the right and the dignity and the radical equity of every human being with others. But it requires movers, not talkers. Al-Hussein had 72 people at that time. The rest were against him, or another bigger majority were against him. The biggest majority was watching. Because the battle was a battle of wa'i. Wa'i means awareness. Ma'rakah wa'i. Wa'i. Because these people told them Islam is what Yazid is saying Islam is. After all, who's got the power? Who's the Khalifa? The Khalifa determines Islam. He's after all Khalifatullah, or Khalifatu Rasulillah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Hussein is saying, wait, let's just keep the Khalifa where he is. Can we go to what Allah and His Rasul said? Khalifas, mashallah, very, sounds nice. But let's keep the Khalifa, let's go to what Allah Azza wa Jal said. Let's go what Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said. The direction must be changed. Because the Lord of all did not favor some over others because of their genes or family or socio-economic status. The Lord of all created all radically equal. And then said, Inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. The best of you are those who contribute positively best. So Al-Hussein, I like to call it a renaissance, not a revolution. If in nowadays word of revolution, that means chaos and legalizing violence and bloodshed and you name it, in the name against the political opponents just because you disagree with them. No. Al-Hussein is a renaissance that stands up with your mind, that stands with your heart, that stands with your body, that actually leads you to illuminate and be illuminating. But you all remember that renaissance, other than versus revolutions, in renaissance you're going to have to suffer and sacrifice. And that's exactly what Al-Hussein did. The reason sometimes we all, the Ummah has done, in many ways, Allah forgive the Ummah, done dhulm to the movement and the renaissance of Al-Hussein is because Al-Hussein has become between two extremes. An extreme that vacates the movement of Al-Hussein from that powerful engine, a powerful transformation that it ought to make you, and reduce Al-Hussein to tears and rituals and being sad. And you know what? You can go ahead, be sad all you want, enjoy sadness. If you want, I'll give you a room. Cry all you want and be sad all you want. Sadness does you good. So long you're not transformed, don't change. Next year also be sad again and cry more. And the year after that, do that as well. So long you're just sad, we're happy. One, the situation is not changed. The tears on Al-Hussein and the sadness and the sorrow on Al-Hussein is not transformative. It has been vacated from its transformative effect. The rituals have been castrated. So it doesn't change you. You can just sing about it. You can just cry about it. Feel sad about it. Turn Al-Hussein into an emotion that gives zero push towards transformation so we can be better human beings tomorrow. Not just with our fellow members of our faith, but with entire humanity, but with the whole world, with its animals and plants and air and water and everything. For the Muslim to actually be a source of mercy and love and unconditional compassion and a refuge for all those who suffer on the face of the earth, irrespective of their faith and background. That's the message of the Prophets ﷺ. That was the message of Al-Hussein. But we reduce the message. And the rituals, we make sure we vacate them and suffocate anything in them that is transformative. On the other hand, you've got the other group. You mention Al-Hussein, they start shaking. Al-Hussein shaking. Al-Hussein shaking. Al-Hussein, Shia. Wallah, if Al-Hussein is Shia, then we're all Shia by definition. Wallahi, thumma wallahi, thumma wallah. But Al-Hussein was there before the Sunnah and the Shia. Al-Hussein is Islam as the Prophets showed Islam. Not as X, Y, and Z shows Islam. The example of Al-Hussein is an example shown to us by no other than Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. It's not Sunni versus Shi'i. Al-Hussein is not about that. Al-Hussein was not telling Yazid, give freedom to only the people who like me. Only to those who are part of my tariqah. Only to those who are part of my club. Only those who like me. Only those who believe in me. Al-Hussein was telling them, you need to turn your direction from you being so-called the custodian over the deen. Return to the deen so that the deen is custodian over you. You don't protect the deen being the ruler, but the deen protects you. You don't memorize or you don't keep the Quran keeps you. People think that they actually keep the Quran and because they memorize it. If you, Quran keeps you, miskeen anta. You don't give dignity to Islam by working in the field of da'wah. The da'wah gives dignity to you. Allah doesn't need us to help His deen. We need the deen to help us. But we insist that we are the Imam al-Muslimin or Shaykh al-Islam. Okay, the Shaykh of Islam. Here's Islam, here's Shaykh of Islam. Why can't we say Islam is the Shaykh of everybody? And make it equal. Khalas, end the story. Done. Why going back to erecting creation so that can be our object of focus versus actually abolishing the creation and looking towards always directing ourselves to the Creator? Wasn't that the message of the Anbiya to start with? So Al-Hussein unfortunately has been reduced to people who are scared to mention him. Because also we have these intellectual terrorists. If you mention Ahlul Bayt, they start saying Shia. And they will not let you go until you say Shia are actually kuffar. Takfir is an individual thing. Somebody says La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. Kufr is an individual court case. It's a court case. No, if you don't say they're all kuffar, we have some people, not all people, some people. Intellectual terrorists running around to sow hate in the ummah's heart and to cause more division within the ummah. Doesn't mean that we agree with the other sects. No, we have irreconcilable differences. That doesn't take us to hate. Our deen does not teach us hate. Our deen teach us to love. And when we have irreconcilable differences, we try to do da'wah billati hiya ahsan. Ud'u ila sabili rabbika bil hikmati wal maw'idati al-hasana. We do the best we can, and the judge is Allah. We're not saying right equals wrong. Absolutely not. But be careful of this takfiri line. This is kafir, or this is kafir, or this is kafir, or he is kafir, or that one is mubtadi'. The only one who is Muslim is me and my brother. But then we will fight, me and my brother. Who's the real Muslim? You or me? If we spend as much time judging our own selves versus judging others, we would be in a much better position today. But time is spent on judging others. But ourselves, no, that's not there. Al-Hussein, my dear beloved brothers, is still a victim. We're victimizing him in a sense. Because the ummah still has not, while it's still giving light, but will still have not been able to take that power and light from the seerah of Sayyidina Abi Abdullah al-Hussein to turn it into a transformative move that makes us be free, that makes us be people who are free, that makes us people who actually can go to the levels that are sought by the Quran and Sunnah from believers, that makes us people who become refuge for other people of many faith systems to offer them unconditional mercy and refuge. But we became refugees from each other. From each other. We run from each other to seek refuge from each other. And we can't offer people mercy and compassion if we don't have them, if we don't live them. We can't offer people nobility if we don't have it. We can't offer people love if we don't integrate it in ourselves, in our systems. You can waste time all you want in this dunya, but your time and my time is all limited. If you don't change your deen into a transformative means that makes you a better human being, makes me a better human being tomorrow, then that deen is, Allah help us with that. That's all I can say. Just like Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu said, يَعَمُّهُمْ بِعِقَابٍ مِنْهُ. Don't complain about the situation. Don't complain about why we are like this. يَدَاكَ أَوْكَتَا وَفُوكَ نَفَعْ. You're doing it. You're part of it. Don't complain. Don't complain about kids are having, where are the morals and the ethics and the principles and all these things. We're teaching them measurements of success as creation and materialism. How do you expect them to actually see that measurement of success is how noble I can be of a person? How generous I can be. How can I compete in generosity? How can I compete in being trustworthy? How can I compete in being faithful, loyal? How can I carry all these principles and live by them and live with them? Islam and Iman is not a talk, my dear beloved brothers, and I know we're all sinners. I'm not excluding myself from myself from that. But I have love, at least I claim, and Allah knows, in my heart for the whole ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. For anyone who says La ilaha illallah, Muhammadun Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And I want to try as much as I can to help myself first and foremost, and share what I can share with others, that our biggest enemy is ignorance and arrogance, not other people. It's not Yazid. Yazid is the ignorance and the arrogance in you. That's the Yazid. It's not the Yazid that died 1400 years ago. That Yazid has his judge now. Allah will judge him. What about our Yazid? Our actions. Oh, just to say I am Hussaini, but the actions are Yazidi? Just to say we are Hussaini, like when we raise our kids with Yazidi measurements of success? How do you expect this message to continue then? Me, and let we go to Jahannam? Burn we for the sake of me? Choice. Allah gave us choice. And Hussein was not that. But that's a choice we have. That's a choice. So long we live, we take. Life is not long. And when you look at Al-Hussein let me finish with this, on that night before the main massacre, he's looking at the dunya. I can almost picture him in my mind, looking at the dunya, looking at all these people who came there to kill him, armed. All of a sudden they're armed. All of a sudden they are the most equipped. When you were fighting your real enemies, you did not carry all these weapons and you were not so ajib. Now all of a sudden you are, mashallah. Now you became a hero on me. You want to play warriors on me. Lakin when the others are humiliating you, you're a cat. He's looking at them. And he's also looking at the others who did not show up and told them, we are with you. But we are with you so long that that doesn't bother our daily comfort of life. I mean, if it bothers a little bit, don't bother me, okay? I still love you. And what At-Tabari, Ibn Athir, and others say, he allegedly said also, another poetry that he allegedly said, he says, Ya dahru uffin laka min khalili. Oh time, oh dunya, you're not a good friend. كم لك بالإشراق والأصيل من صاحب وطالب قتيل. In the morning and at night, you kill, O dunya, you kill those who love you and you kill those who hate you. You have no friends. What is this dunya? Has no friends. Those who love the dunya, it still kills them. And those who hate the dunya, they still die. He says, Ya dar uffin laka min khalili. كم لك بالإشراق والأصيل من صاحب وطالب قتيل والدهر لا يقنع بالبديل وإنما الأمر إلى الجليل. And it all is to Allah al-Jalil. وكل حي, everyone who lives, سالك سبيلي, will have to also walk the way I walked. Everyone will have to taste death. No one is here to stay. No one is going to be here. فَلَوْ خَلَدَ الْكِرَامُ إِذًا خَلَدْنَا وَلَوْ بَقِيَ الْمُلُوكُ إِذًا بَقِينَا وَمَا إِن طِبُّنَا جُبْنٌ وَلَكِنْ مَنَايَانَا وَدَوْلَةُ آخَرِينَ. He says if it was everlastingness was given to the Anbiya, we would have received it, or to the kings, we would have received it. If the honorable and noble people, Allah would give them to live long, we would have gotten it. So it's not about being cowards or losers. We didn't lose, but manayana, but the decree of Allah for things to happen in this dunya and the rise of someone else. I think Al-Hussein requires from us to look further into his renaissance and to look at the lights